Wagner mercenaries fly the corporate flag from a window in the town of Soledar. The building's cleared, they say. Congratulations on the victory. For a few days now, the mercenary group has claimed victory here, but the Kremlin had remained tight-lipped. Today, the military establishment in Moscow announced that the town was under Russian control. The Ministry of Defense spokesman said that taking Soledar opens up the possibility of cutting off Ukrainian supply lines in Bakhmut, a town 9 miles to the southwest. The Ukrainians dispute these claims, say they are still fighting around Soledar, or what's left of it. This was the place that on Friday 2 British aid workers disappeared in.
So I'm an evacuation driver. I receive requests from family members who've asked us to go and collect their relatives.
This is an interview with 28-year-old Chris Parry, filmed just 3 days before he disappeared in Bakhmut, complete with fierce artillery fire in the background.
And there was a lady who's 51 years old who had requested herself actually to leave because things are getting a bit too hot over there.
Yesterday, unverified claims from Wagner mercenaries said they'd found Chris Parry's body along with weapons. It's telling that there's no sign of any firearms in any of the footage we've seen of either aid worker. Also, we've spoken to several people who worked closely with them. They told us neither aid worker ever carried firearms. These were not militants, quite the opposite. Here is how another aid worker and friend described Andrew Bagshaw.
The first thing that springs to mind is the kindest, calmest person. Like, there's a lot of people who go to war zones, probably myself included, who were chasing something where he was just a loving guy who, the only thing he was chasing was he had this massive heart and he didn't agree with anything that was going on. He knew the difference between right and wrong.
2 people who worked closely with Chris and Andrew recently have told us about events leading up to their disappearance. On Friday, a call came in to one of the people coordinating volunteers based at a hub in the city of Kramatorsk. The call alerted volunteers to the fact that an elderly woman was requesting an evacuation from Soledar. Andrew Bagshaw and Chris Parry, who had a vehicle, volunteered for this so-called hot evacuation. We understand that they drove in on this road and that the elderly woman lived in this part of town near the salt mine. Andrew and Chris did not make it to the address. The British Foreign Office said they're in close contact with Ukrainian authorities and are continuing to support, quote, the families of 2 British men. Just a fortnight ago, Chris Parry, a long way from his native Cornwall, was asked why he was in a bunker in Bakhmut.
I'm here just because what's happening is awful and I can push a pedal of a car. So I came, I thought I could help, so I quit my job and off I came.
Wars are huge, overwhelming affairs, paralyze some into doing nothing. That is not the case with everyone, though.